Our journey begins in the heart of North Africa, along the fertile banks of the mighty Nile River. This was the cradle of one of history's most magnificent and enduring civilizations, ancient Egypt. For over 3,000 years, this culture flourished, gifting the world with revolutionary advancements in writing, medicine, art, and governance. Their worldview was dominated by a profound belief in the afterlife, a journey the soul undertook after death. To facilitate this eternal voyage, they constructed monumental tombs for their divine kings, the pharaohs. And nowhere on earth is this ambition more powerfully expressed than on the Giza Plateau, a limestone spur on the outskirts of modern-day Cairo. This desolate, windswept plain became the chosen stage for the most audacious architectural project in human history. It is here, under the relentless Saharan sun, that we find the iconic trio of pyramids, eternal sentinels guarding secrets that are as potent today as they were 4.5 millennia ago. And among these colossal structures, one stands supreme, the Great Pyramid of Pharaoh Khufu. For an astonishing 3,800 years, it remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth, a testament to a scale of ambition that would not be rivaled until the modern era. But to merely call it large is to miss the point entirely. The true wonder of the Great Pyramid is not found in its immensity, but in its impossible precision. We are confronted with an artifact that exhibits mathematical sophistication and engineering genius that seems to defy the technological capabilities of its time. This is not merely an old tomb, it is a precision-made machine carved from stone. The questions we must ask are therefore not simple. They are foundational. How could a society, without the wheel, without iron tools, achieve such a feat? The conventional explanations of ramps and copper chisels begin to feel inadequate when faced with the sheer perfection of this structure, forcing us to look beyond traditional archaeology for answers. The precision of the Great Pyramid extends far beyond its stonework and into the very heavens above. This structure is not randomly placed, it is meticulously aligned with the cardinal points of the compass, north, south, east, and west, with an error margin of less than 1/15 of a single degree. Such accuracy would be a remarkable achievement for modern surveyors with GPS technology, yet it was accomplished in an age believed to be devoid of such instruments. But the celestial connections run even deeper. The arrangement of the three main pyramids at Giza, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure is not arbitrary. Multiple researchers have proposed a startling correlation. Their layout on the ground mirrors the arrangement of the three stars in Orion's belt within the constellation of Orion, a constellation deeply associated with the Egyptian god of the afterlife, Osiris. This is not merely a symbolic gesture, it is a complex, scaled map of the sky on the ground, suggesting the builders possessed an advanced, perhaps even divinely inspired, understanding of astronomy that challenges our perception of their scientific capabilities. To comprehend the scale of this endeavor, we must journey over 800 kilometers south, to the granite quarries of Aswan. Here, we find the unfinished obelisk, still partially attached to the bedrock, a silent witness to the incredible effort and skill involved. It was from quarries like this that the builders extracted the most critical components of the pyramid, including the massive granite beams, each weighing over 50 tons, that form the roof of the king's chamber. The challenge of moving these monolithic blocks is almost beyond comprehension. How were these colossal stones, some weighing more than a modern tank, transported across such vast distances of desert and river? The conventional theory suggests barges during the Nile's flood season. However, the logistics of loading, navigating, and unloading hundreds of thousands of these blocks with nothing but ropes, wooden sleds, and human muscle present a problem of Herculean proportions. This was not merely a construction project, it was a centuries-long logistical nightmare that would challenge even modern engineers, raising the question, were more advanced technologies, now lost to history, employed in this ancient endeavor? Once the stones arrived at Giza, an even greater challenge awaited, lifting them into place. The mainstream theory proposes the use of massive, straight ramps built from rubble and sand. However, this theory collapses under mathematical scrutiny. To maintain a viable incline for dragging multi-ton blocks, a straight ramp to the top of the Great Pyramid would have required more volume and material than the pyramid itself, a self-defeating and monumentally inefficient undertaking. Alternative theories suggest intricate ramp systems zigzagging up the pyramid's faces or spiraling around its core. Yet, no archaeological evidence for such ramps has ever been conclusively found. The absence of this crucial evidence is a gaping hole in the conventional narrative. Furthermore, the placement of the crown stones, the precision fitting blocks at the very apex, defies all simple ramp models. The act of lifting and perfectly positioning these final stones hundreds of feet in the air, with no room for error, remains one of the most perplexing engineering puzzles, pointing towards the potential use of sophisticated lifting mechanisms or techniques that have left no trace in the archaeological record. Deep within the heart of the Great Pyramid lies its most enigmatic space, the King's Chamber. Constructed entirely from massive, polished blocks of Aswan granite, this room exudes an aura of profound mystery. At its center rests the so-called sarcophagus, a coffer made from a single block of incredibly hard granite. The precision of this box is baffling. Its interior is hollowed out with such sharp, perfect corners and smooth, flat surfaces that it suggests the use of tools far beyond simple copper chisels and stone hammers. The methods used to achieve this level of craftsmanship in granite, a material harder than copper, remain unknown. Furthermore, the coffer is too large to have been brought into the chamber after the chamber was built. It must have been placed there during the construction, meaning the entire pyramid was built around this single, perfect object. This was not a last-minute addition, it was the central, pre-planned centerpiece of the entire monumental structure, hinting at a purpose far more complex than a simple burial. When we move from the physical to the mathematical, the Great Pyramid reveals a layer of encoding that transcends its function as a tomb. Astonishingly, the ratio of the pyramid's perimeter to its height, when calculated, gives a value that is remarkably close to 2 pi, or 2 times pi. This mathematical constant, crucial for calculating circles and spheres, seems to be embedded in the very dimensions of this square-based structure. Coincidence? The evidence deepens. The proportions of the pyramid's faces also appear to embody the golden ratio, phi, approximately 1.618, a proportion revered for its aesthetic perfection and prevalence in nature, from the spiral of a nautilus shell to the arrangement of seeds in a sunflower. The probability of both these fundamental constants appearing by chance in a single, ancient structure is infinitesimally small. This suggests the builders possessed not just advanced engineering knowledge, but a profound, almost sacred understanding of the universal laws of mathematics and geometry, knowledge that would not be formally discovered by the Western world for thousands of years. Were these constants left as a deliberate message, a mathematical fingerprint of a lost or otherworldly intelligence? The encoding of the Great Pyramid extends beyond mathematics and into the very geography of our planet. In a stunning revelation, modern geodetic science has discovered that the Great Pyramid is located at the exact center of the Earth's landmass. The lines of longitude and latitude that pass through the pyramid intersect more land and less sea than any other location on the globe. This is not a subjective claim but a calculable geographic fact. How could the ancient builders have possessed such a comprehensive understanding of the Earth's continental layout? This knowledge implies a level of global exploration and cartography that is completely absent from the historical record of ancient Egypt. It positions the Great Pyramid not just as a monument to a pharaoh, but as a geodetic marker of planetary significance. This fact forces us to reconsider the entire purpose of the structure. Was it designed as a central node, a beacon, or even a navigational anchor point for a civilization or an intelligence with a global, rather than a local, perspective? The celestial connections of the Great Pyramid are not limited to its external alignment. From the heart of the structure, from both the king's and queen's chambers, narrow, small shafts extend outward, piercing through the massive core of the pyramid to the open air. For decades, their purpose remained a mystery. Then, in the 1960s, astronomer and Egyptologist Virginia Trimble proposed a revolutionary theory. These shafts were not ventilation ducts, but precisely aligned stellar sightlines. Advanced robotic explorations have since confirmed this. The southern shaft from the King's Chamber targeted the constellation of Orion, specifically the star Al-Nitak, associated with Osiris. The northern shaft pointed directly at Alpha Draconis, the pole star of that epoch. These shafts were locked onto specific stars with religious and cosmological significance. This implies the pyramid was not just a static tomb, but a dynamic, astronomical instrument designed to facilitate the pharaoh's soul's journey to the stars. The precision required to align these narrow shafts through hundreds of feet of solid stone, targeting stars that shifted over millennia, speaks of an astronomical science far more advanced than we have ever credited to the ancients. A radical challenge to the established timeline of the Sphinx comes not from archaeology, but from geology. Geologists like Dr. Robert Schoch have meticulously studied the weathering patterns on the Sphinx's body and the walls of its enclosure. They point out a profound anomaly: the deep, vertical, undulating erosion channels are not characteristic of wind and sand, which weather stone horizontally. Instead, this pattern is a textbook signature of heavy, prolonged rainfall erosion. The last time the Giza Plateau experienced rainfall of such intensity and duration was at the end of the last ice age, around 10,000 to 5,000 BCE. This places the origin of the Sphinx thousands of years earlier than the reign of Pharaoh Khafre, to whom it is traditionally attributed. If correct, this hypothesis shatters the conventional narrative. It suggests the work of a much older, advanced, and as yet unidentified civilization, a precursor to the dynastic Egyptians, who may have merely inherited and restored these enigmatic monuments. The Sphinx, therefore, could be a relic from a lost chapter in human history, its true builders and purpose swallowed by the sands of time. If the tools we attribute to the ancient Egyptians are insufficient, what alternatives exist? One compelling, albeit speculative, theory proposes the use of advanced sonic technology. Across various ancient cultures, from the myths of the Andes to the legends of the Himalayas, there are stories of stones being softened, shaped, or even levitated into place using the power of sound. Could specific resonant frequencies alter the molecular structure of stone, reducing its friction and making it pliable? Experiments with cymatics show how sound can shape matter. Furthermore, the internal structure of the pyramid, with its resonating chambers and narrow shafts, might have been designed to amplify specific harmonic frequencies. Another theory suggests the use of large, crystalline tools, powered by some form of ancient energy, capable of cutting stone with laser-like precision. While no physical evidence of such devices remains, the perfection of the stonework itself is the primary exhibit. The absence of tool marks consistent with copper chisels on hard granite points towards a lost technology, a science of vibration and energy that we are only beginning to rediscover today. We now arrive at the most controversial and paradigm-shifting theory, the ancient astronaut hypothesis. Proponents of this idea argue that the evidence we have examined, the impossible precision, the encoded mathematics, the advanced astronomy, and the lack of adequate tools points to a singular, extraordinary conclusion: that Earth was visited in the remote past by an extraterrestrial intelligence. These beings, whom our ancestors would have perceived as gods, shared advanced knowledge and technology, guiding humanity to leap forward in its development. The pyramids, according to this view, are not merely tombs, but perhaps powerful energy plants, communication devices, or navigational beacons for interstellar travel. The sheer concentration of inexplicable genius at Giza is presented as the core of this evidence. If it was merely human ingenuity, why does this specific level of technological sophistication appear so suddenly, only to vanish just as abruptly, not to be seen again for thousands of years? The hypothesis suggests that Giza is the legacy of this contact, a permanent, stone-based message left by starfarers, waiting for us to evolve enough to understand its true meaning. The enigma of Giza becomes even more profound when we observe its echoes across the ancient world. In Mesopotamia, the massive stepped pyramids known as ziggurats, like the Great Ziggurat of Ur, share a striking conceptual similarity with the Egyptian pyramids, despite geographical and cultural distance. Even more compelling are the parallels in the Americas. The stepped pyramids of Teotihuacan in Mexico and the intricate stonework of Puma Punku in Bolivia, with their precision-cut H-blocks that interlock with laser-like accuracy, present the same puzzling questions. How do we explain these shared architectural themes, monumental structures, precise astronomical alignments, and megalithic construction across oceans that were supposedly impassable at the time? The conventional narrative of isolated cultural development begins to strain under the weight of this global evidence. It suggests the possibility of a shared, global source of knowledge, a primordial blueprint disseminated by a seafaring, advanced civilization, or perhaps, by visitors from the stars, who left their architectural signature on multiple continents. Moving beyond tombs and temples, one of the most fascinating modern theories reimagines the Great Pyramid as a massive, sophisticated power generator. Proposed by engineer Christopher Dunn, the Giza power plant theory suggests the pyramid was a machine that harnessed the Earth's natural vibrational energy. According to this hypothesis, the subterranean chamber acted as a pulse generator, the Grand Gallery as a sound resonator and collector, and the King's Chamber, with its unique granite construction, as the core reaction chamber. The theory posits that the pyramid was designed to convert seismic energy from the Earth into microwave or electromagnetic energy. The specific materials, like the granite with its high quartz content, piezoelectric, would be critical for this process. This would explain why no bodies or grave goods were ever found in the pyramid's central chambers. They were never intended as tombs. They were functional components of a vast, clean energy device, a technology so advanced that we are only now beginning to grasp its principles. This theory compellingly answers the why behind the pyramid's most perplexing features, framing it as the apex of a lost, clean energy technology. Intriguing physical traces within the pyramid lend further credence to the power plant theory. When explorer and engineer Sir William Siemens ascended the pyramid in the 19th century, he reported a strange phenomenon. His guides felt electric shocks when drinking from a bottle wrapped in a wet newspaper, and Siemens himself felt a sharp shock when raising his hand near the apex. He believed he had discovered a powerful energy field. Furthermore, traces of zinc and hydrochloric acid have been reportedly found in the submerged subterranean chamber, which could theoretically be used to produce hydrogen gas. If the pyramid was designed to channel subterranean water, it could have created a continuous flow of hydrogen rising through the shafts, acting as a waveguide for vibrational energy. Adding to the mystery is the pyramid's missing apex, the capstone. Was it, as some speculate, made of a different, highly conductive material like gold or electrum, designed to focus and transmit the collected energy into the atmosphere? The absence of this final piece may be the key to why the machine fell silent. When searching for the architects of this lost high technology, one cannot ignore the most enduring legend of them all, Atlantis. First mentioned by the Greek philosopher Plato, Atlantis was described as a powerful and advanced civilization that sank into the ocean in a single day and night. Could the Giza Plateau be a surviving outpost of this fabled empire? The geological dating of the Sphinx to a period of heavy rainfall aligns perfectly with the timeline of the last ice age, a period of dramatic climate change that could have caused catastrophic flooding. The advanced engineering and global perspective embedded in the pyramid's design fit the description of Atlantean knowledge. Perhaps the survivors of this cataclysm, the gods of later mythologies, imparted their knowledge to the emerging Egyptian civilization, guiding them to construct these monuments as a lasting legacy of their world. The pyramids, then, would not be the beginning of a civilization, but the magnificent end of a much older one, a time capsule from a forgotten age of gods. The mysteries of Giza are not just the domain of theorists, they are now being probed by cutting-edge science. The Scan Pyramids Project, an international mission using non-invasive muon tomography, has made startling discoveries. Muons are cosmic ray particles that can penetrate stone, and by analyzing their absorption, scientists can see inside structures. This technology has confirmed the existence of a large, previously unknown void, dubbed the Big Void, located directly above the Grand Gallery. Its purpose and contents remain a complete mystery. Additionally, thermal scans have revealed anomalous heat signatures behind certain limestone blocks on the eastern side, suggesting the presence of hidden chambers or different building materials. These scientific findings prove that the Great Pyramid still holds physical secrets we have not yet accessed. They validate the idea that we have far from a complete understanding of this structure, and that the most profound discoveries may still lie hidden within its core, waiting for the right technology to reveal them. Standing guard over the Giza complex, the Great Sphinx presents a riddle as profound as the pyramids themselves. This colossal creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human is the world's largest monolithic statue. Conventional Egyptology attributes its face to Pharaoh Khafre. However, its severe, eroded features make a positive identification difficult. Some researchers, like forensic expert Frank Domingo, have argued that the face does not match known statues of Khafre. This opens the door to a more symbolic interpretation. The Sphinx, facing directly due east, is a celestial sentinel greeting the rising sun. The lion is a symbol of strength and royalty, often associated with the sun god. Could the Sphinx represent a far older guardian of knowledge, a lion marking the age of Leo some 12,000 years ago, with its human head symbolizing the intelligence that once ruled that era? Its enigmatic smile seems to hold a secret about the true age and purpose of the entire Giza complex, a secret it has kept for millennia. Beneath the sands of Giza lies a labyrinthine world that official archaeology is often reluctant to explore. Rumors and reports, from early explorers to modern researchers, speak of extensive subterranean chambers, tunnel systems, and even hidden halls of records beneath the Sphinx's paws. In the 1990s, ground-penetrating radar surveys confirmed the existence of anomalous cavities and tunnels under the Sphinx. However, further exploration has been consistently restricted or shut down by Egyptian authorities. Why the secrecy? What could be down there that is so sensitive? Theorists suggest that the discovery of such chambers could contain artifacts or knowledge so revolutionary it would shatter our understanding of history, perhaps advanced technology, historical records of a lost civilization, or even genetic evidence. The suppression of this research fuels the fire of speculation, suggesting that a powerful, established narrative is being protected, and that the true history of Giza is considered too dangerous for public knowledge. To truly grasp the gap between conventional theory and reality, we can employ reverse engineering. Modern stonemasons and engineers have attempted to replicate the pyramid's precision using only the tools ascribed to the ancient Egyptians. The results are telling. Even with modern knowledge, recreating the flatness of the foundation bedrock, the perfect squareness of the base, or the laser-like straightness of the core masonry blocks using copper saws and stone hammers has proven nearly impossible. The tolerances are simply too tight. When experts in precision machining examine the granite coffer in the king's chamber, they state that achieving such sharp internal corners and perfectly flat surfaces requires tooling that applies even, tremendous pressure, something beyond pounding with dolerite balls. This exercise in reverse engineering doesn't just highlight a problem, it demonstrates a technological chasm. It strongly suggests that the builders possessed a manufacturing technology that has either been lost, overlooked, or deliberately omitted from the historical record. Perhaps the most comprehensive ancient astronaut narrative comes from the oldest civilization known to history, the Sumerians. Their cuneiform tablets speak of powerful beings called the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. According to the interpretations of scholars like Zakaria Sitchin, these beings came from a planet called Nibiru and genetically engineered humanity to serve as a labor force, primarily for mining gold. In this radical reinterpretation of history, the pyramids were not tombs, but sophisticated structures built with the Anunnaki's advanced technology, possibly functioning as control towers for their spaceport in the Sinai Peninsula or as energy transmitting stations. The sudden rise of Sumerian and Egyptian civilization with a full-blown, complex language, writing, mathematics, and astronomy is explained as a gift from the gods, a transfer of knowledge from a more advanced species. This theory weaves the mysteries of Giza into a grand, interstellar epic, suggesting that human history is inextricably linked with visitors from the stars. The evidence for intervention may not be limited to stone, it might be written in our very DNA. Mainstream genetics acknowledges a great mystery in human evolution, the so-called missing link. The human genome contains 223 genes that have no predecessors in the evolutionary tree, they appear fully formed. Proponents of the ancient astronaut theory point to this as potential evidence of deliberate genetic manipulation. Furthermore, the consistent descriptions of gods across cultures, often described as tall, long-lived, and technologically advanced, could be a racial memory of these genetic engineers. The advanced medical knowledge found in ancient texts, and even the mysterious purpose of the pyramid itself, theorized by some as a device for consciousness expansion or genetic transformation, begin to make a terrifying kind of sense if viewed through this lens. We are not just searching for our history in the sand, we may be searching for it in our own cells, and the answer might be that we are, in part, a created species, with the pyramids standing as a stark reminder of our cosmic heritage. So, we return to our original, fundamental question, now armed with a mountain of contradictory evidence. Who built the pyramids of Giza? The traditional answer of Pharaoh Khufu and an army of laborers with copper chisels and ramps feels increasingly like a fairy tale, a simplistic story told to comfort us. The evidence on the ground, the precision, the astronomy, the mathematics, the geology, screams of a higher intelligence. The ancient astronaut theory provides a provocative, comprehensive, and terrifyingly logical answer. It connects the dots across disciplines and continents. It suggests that we are not the first intelligent species to ponder the stars, but that we were, in fact, visited by them. The pyramids, in this final analysis, are not a mystery to be solved by traditional archaeology. They are a message. A message in stone, mathematics, and astronomy, left by our starborn creators, waiting for the day when our own technology and understanding would evolve enough for us to finally read it. Scattered across the globe, buried in museum vaults and private collections, are artifacts that defy classification. Objects like the schist disc found in the tomb of Prince Sabu, a delicate, three-lobed stone object that resembles a modern-day propeller or flywheel, crafted from fragile schist, a material notoriously difficult to work with. Its purpose remains a complete mystery, with no parallel in Egyptian archaeology. Then there are the Vimana flying machines described in ancient Indian Sanskrit texts, with detailed accounts of their construction and aerial battles. These are not isolated myths, they are detailed technical manuals. When we place these anomalous artifacts next to the pyramids, a pattern emerges, a pattern of lost technology. These objects are the scattered pieces of a puzzle, hinting that the advanced knowledge required to build Giza was not unique to Egypt, but part of a global technological paradigm that has since vanished from history, suppressed by cataclysm and time. Step inside the chambers of the Great Pyramid, and you step into a world of strange sonic phenomena. The King's Chamber, in particular, possesses unique acoustic properties. Specific frequencies resonate powerfully within this granite box, creating standing waves and harmonic echoes that are not found in other parts of the pyramid. Modern experiments have shown that these frequencies can affect human brainwave patterns, potentially inducing altered states of consciousness. Was this intentional? Was the King's Chamber not a tomb, but a resonance chamber for initiation rituals or for communicating with other dimensions? The Grand Gallery, with its corbelled walls, acts as a giant sound collector and amplifier, funneling vibrational energy towards the King's Chamber. This sophisticated understanding of acoustics suggests the builders were not just master stonemasons, but also master physicists of sound, using the pyramid as a giant therapeutic or transcendental instrument to harmonize with the Earth's own frequency and unlock higher states of awareness. The story of Giza cannot be told in isolation. Look to the Andes, to the mind-boggling stonework of Sacsayhuaman, where massive stones are cut with such complex, interlocking shapes that a credit card cannot be inserted between them. Look to Lebanon, to the megalithic blocks of Baalbek, some weighing over 1,000 tons, moved and positioned with a skill that dwarfs our own. These are not coincidences, they are chapters in the same forgotten book of human history. The same fingerprints of a lost science are found at all these sites: impossible weight, impossible precision, and a mysterious purpose. This global network of megalithic wonders suggests a unified, prehistoric civilization with a shared technological and spiritual worldview. A civilization, or perhaps a guidance, that circled the globe, leaving behind these impossible monuments as a testament to their power and knowledge, a power that we have yet to reclaim. Accepting the Ancient Astronaut Theory or the reality of a lost advanced civilization requires a paradigm shift of Copernican proportions. It means ripping up the history books and starting over. It means acknowledging that everything we thought we knew about our past is fundamentally flawed. This is not just about redating a monument, it's about redefining what it means to be human. Are we the pinnacle of intelligence on this planet, or are we the heirs to a much older, grander legacy? This shift is already beginning. With every new scientific discovery at Giza, with every anomalous artifact unearthed, the old guard of rigid skepticism crumbles. The weight of the evidence is becoming too heavy to ignore. We are standing at the precipice of a great awakening, a moment in time where we must choose between the comfort of outdated dogma and the thrilling, terrifying light of a new truth. The path forward is clear. We must demand a new era of open, transparent, and interdisciplinary exploration at Giza and other ancient sites. The restrictions, the academic gatekeeping, the dismissal of compelling theories, it all must end. We need to bring the full force of 21st century technology to bear: more advanced muon tomography, ground-penetrating radar, LiDAR, and thermal imaging. We must drill small, non-invasive borescopes into the newly discovered voids. We must excavate the suspected tunnels around the Sphinx. The truth is not fragile, it can withstand scrutiny. But it cannot be found if we are not allowed to look. This is not a plea for speculation, it is a call for scientific revolution. The future of our past depends on our courage to ask the big questions and demand the right to search for the answers, wherever they may lead. So, what if the ultimate conclusion is true? What if we are not alone, and we never have been? This realization does not diminish humanity, it elevates it. It connects us to a cosmos teeming with life and intelligence. The pyramids become more than just ancient wonders, they become our birth certificate, a permanent record of our contact with a higher intelligence. They are a challenge left to us by our cosmic parents, a test to see when we would evolve enough to understand their message. That time is now. By solving the riddle of Giza, we are not just uncovering our past, we are claiming our place in a vast, interstellar community. We are realizing that the longing to look up at the stars is encoded in our DNA because, in a very real sense, that is where we came from. The stars are our home. The verdict of the evidence is clear. The pyramids of Giza were not built by Pharaoh Khufu with the primitive tools we attribute to his era. The construction, the precision, the encoded knowledge, and the global connections all point to a source far more advanced. Whether that source was a lost human civilization like Atlantis, or visitors from another world, the conclusion is the same: our history is not what we have been told. The stones of Giza have spoken. They tell a story of intervention, of knowledge bestowed, and of a greatness that once was. The mystery of the pyramids is no longer a question of how, but who. And as we stand here today, on the brink of a new understanding, we must have the courage to accept the answer, no matter how astonishing it may be. The truth is out there. It has been waiting for us for 12,000 years.